Okay, this is lesson number 3 of Omnivore's Dilemma. We're still going to be working on making inferences with nonfiction, determining main idea, and we're also adding a new standard today, which is determining author's purpose or the author's claim. So what is the author proving, basically? Last night for homework you read chapter 6, and there is a quiz on my big campus on chapter 6, so you missed that if you are absent. You need to see me to make that up. Okay, so chapter 6 was all about corn, as you read, and all the different things we eat that have corn in it that you might not have realized. So we're going to be examining what his purpose was in writing that chapter. But first we need to take some notes, so you should get your notebook out and write down these terms. So pause the video to get your notes out. And here are the terms. You might be familiar with them. The first one is claim. So when I say, what is the author's claim, it means what's the author trying to prove. The next word is reason. A reason is an evidence-based reason that proves your claim. So reason is different than evidence. Evidence are actually quotes or details from the story or an article that prove your claim and correspond to a reason. Lastly, a counterclaim, which we're not going to talk about today, but that's when you prove the opposite side wrong. So now that you've taken those notes, let's look at an example. So say I'm going to write an article and I'm going to claim cell phones should be allowed in school. That's the thing that you're proving. Now you have to think of a reason. So this is where you can see the difference between a reason and evidence. So what's a reason cell phones should be allowed in school? I'm sure you could think of one. My reason is students can use them for learning. Now the quote or the evidence is going to prove whatever the reason is. So I just found this quote from an article about an app called Evernote. It's a quote about how Evernote also allows the saving of pictures and audio files. Teachers could provide a document with audio information as well as students who are struggling readers. So that would be evidence or a quote that proves the reason, that proves the claim. So now we're actually going to examine this with chapter 6. We have to come up with what he's actually trying to prove and what details show that that's what he's trying to prove. So we're going to look at this page, which is page 7 in your Omnivore's Dilemma packet. Okay, and the food chain that we're studying right now is industrial. For page numbers, we can just put chapter 6. So you have to go back and try to figure out what's his purpose. So purpose is going to be to prove. What's he trying to prove? I'm going to say so he's trying to prove that everything we eat is made of corn and that it's not good. So hopefully you got the impression that Michael Pollan does not think that eating a bunch of corn is necessarily a good thing. So what details or pieces of evidence here does he use to prove this? So you'd have to go back to the book and get 3 things. I will do one with you. So not only do you want your details that prove things are made of corn, but more importantly, details that prove Michael Pollan thinks that it's not good. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff in the book that proves things are made of corn, but what specific things does he use to prove that it's not a good thing? So, for instance, he talks about how cereal is made mostly of corn, and the corn that cereal is made out of doesn't benefit the farmer who grows the corn, pretty much. I think he said 4 cents out of every dollar actually goes back to the farmer. So that's not good. So that could be your first detail. So that's one example he uses to prove that corn is in a lot of things and that it's not good. So you're going to go back to chapter 6 and find 2 more things from the story that would prove this. And that's basically what we did in class. As long as you get page 7 done, there is no other homework. And that's that.